Hey guys, thanks for stopping by the channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my opinion of one of the more unique cameras that I've tested out lately, and that would be a lure fishing camera from a company called Chasing. Chasing is an innovative company that specializes in many different types of underwater products. They make fishing cameras, underwater drones, heck, they even make pool cleaning robots. Now, I'm going to be straight up with you guys, and I'm not going to BS you at all. The underwater footage that you get from this camera is absolutely amazing, and it is unmatched. However, man, oh man, is it frustrating to actually get that footage. So a quick overview and unboxing real quick to show you what you get in the package before I talk to you guys about the huge pros and cons that come along with this unit. Alright guys, so just reading off the side of the packaging here, I can tell you that this camera has a 136-degree ultra-wide angle. It has a biostream design that allows it to glide through the water just beautifully. It claims to have a battery life of 138 minutes, and I believe that to be true after testing this about 4 or 5 times out on the water. It has Starlight grade full HD, whatever that means, and it also has light correction. Now, I haven't tested this out in any low light conditions yet, but I did test it out in my kitchen, and when I was dunking in a glass of water and I got too close to the bottom of that glass, the light did kick on, so that light does work, guys. It's waterproof up to 656 feet, as if you're ever going to be using it at that depth, and it has wireless charging. My first impressions of the product were amazing based off of the packaging it came in. Seriously guys, if packaging is important to you, then you are not going to be disappointed, because this box that it comes in, well, it feels like you're opening the newest and latest iPhone. It really is that nice, guys. Now, once you open the box, the first thing you're going to notice is the camera. The camera itself feels solid. It has a nice on and off switch that once you turn on, there is no way it's going to accidentally turn off while hitting objects in the water. It takes the perfect amount of force to turn it on and off. Also, there's 2 eyelets on it, one to tie the camera to your main line and one to tie your lighter line that leads to your lure. Also in the box, you get a float circle, which I haven't used yet, but it would basically act like a bobber if you want to fish with live bait underneath it. Also included in the box is your wireless charger and your charging cable. The reason they call it a wireless charger is because to charge the unit, all you have to do is set the bottom of the camera into the charger. It doesn't snap in or anything like that, and it's really a nice touch. The one thing I don't like, however, is that when you're charging the unit, you never know when you have a full charge. The light turns green when you set the camera in it, whether or not it's fully charged or dead. I have a small neck fan that I wear sometimes in the summer when it gets pretty hot, and even that small neck fan has a small light in it that turns from red to blue when it's fully charged. And that thing only costs $12, so I'm really surprised that this company wasn't able to put a different color light on there to show when you have a full charge. That's pretty important to me. And last but not least, you get some instruction pamphlets in the box. So let's jump into the major pros and the major cons that come with this unit. I'll show you how I like to use the underwater camera compared to how some other content creators do. And in the end, I'm going to give you my opinion on whether or not you should buy this camera. The biggest pro that I have about this camera is that the underwater footage that you get from it is absolutely amazing. The second time I ever used this camera, I got what I think is the best underwater muskie strike ever captured with a camera like this. I mean, look at this footage. If you can find a better underwater muskie strike, I'd love to see it. Just leave me a comment in the comment section showing me where it is. However, a huge con about this camera is that as soon as this camera hits the water, you can no longer see the live image on your phone anymore. I thought that I would be able to view the video live the entire time that the camera is recording, and that is simply not how it works. When the lure hits the water, you'll get a message on your phone telling you that the lure hit the water and that it's disconnected, even though the camera is still recording. It's very, very confusing. Another huge con about this camera is that sometimes it can be very difficult, if not impossible, to pair this camera to my phone. You pair this camera to your phone using the unit's internal Wi-Fi, and sometimes it's very easy and there's no problem at all, while other times it just seems, well, impossible. It always seems to have the biggest problem connecting to my phone after it's been in the water for a while. I take it out and it's wet. And if you can't pair the camera to your phone, you can't view any of the footage you just collected. Yeah, the footage is still there, but you absolutely cannot view it if you cannot get it connected by Wi-Fi, and this has happened to me multiple times on the water now. However, I never seem to have any of those issues when the camera is bone dry, like when I'm sitting here at my house. And that's my biggest gripe about the product. You can only look at everything you've collected, you can only use the app that comes with it if you're actually connected to the Wi-Fi. The second you're not connected, You can't see anything on the app. It's just like the title screen, and that's it. And that's extremely frustrating, guys. I can't stand that part. So really, on the water, I'm just constantly frustrated with this thing. Whereas at home, yeah, then I can finally seem to look at my footage, download it to my phone like I need to. But man, I mean, what a monstrous headache that can be sometimes. Some creators have been using this camera while casting out tubes and baits that you drag on the bottom, but I do not recommend doing that with this camera for a couple of reasons. First of all, the camera is way too heavy to be casting all the time. You can't cast it very far at all. And if you're trying to fish a tube or some other kind of dragging bait like a Ned rig, you're simply not going to be able to feel the bite. What I like to do with this camera, and in fact the only way I've been using this camera, is while trolling a crankbait behind my kayak. It actually works very well for this method, and sometimes the surface weeds that would have slipped down my crankbait actually get stuck to my camera and keep the lure weed free. What I found is that the perfect distance from the camera to the crankbait to get the best footage is exactly 24 inches apart. I've captured 2 muskie strikes so far on this camera. One of them was at 24 inches from the lure, and the other was from about 36 inches from the lure, and the footage was way better at 24 inches. So is this camera right for you guys? Well, that really depends. Now, if you're a content creator that wants the absolute best underwater footage on the planet, and you don't mind going through a few headaches to get that footage, then yes. I mean, I'm not joking, guys. The footage on this thing, it blows everything else out of the water. No pun intended. I mean, it is just a phenomenal picture that you get on this thing. However, if I wasn't a content creator looking for that amazing shot that would get me thousands and thousands of views on YouTube, I'm not really sure that I would use this. This camera is good for 2 different types of fishing, guys. Like I already mentioned, trolling behind a boat or kayak. It actually does work really good. I like using it like that. And I haven't done it yet, but if you were to fish live bait underneath this and use that float that I showed you in the box as a bobber, and like I said, just fish some live bait underneath it, it probably would work really well. I just haven't done that yet because it's not really the time of year that I fish live bait. But hey, if you're a fisherman that only fishes with live bait, like you don't make very many casts, you just cast the bait out there, you let it sit, you may absolutely love something like this. Also, if all you do is really troll lures behind your boat, again, you may absolutely love this thing. I got a buddy at work who's been begging me, after I showed him this thing, he's been begging me to borrow my camera and fish it behind his boat. He uses downriggers fishing for salmon out in some of the bigger waters around here. And you know, after I make this video, maybe I'll let him try it out and see how it works. And maybe you'll be seeing some underwater salmon fishing videos coming from me soon. I'd like to thank the Chasing Company for letting me try out their camera, and I'm going to leave a link to this product below in case you want to know what the price is. And until next time, guys, tight lines.